Before we get into today's video, I want to give a quick RIP to my boy Tree. I found out that Tree passed away. I found out last night he passed away very recently. Tree was a cool dude, man. Like, he definitely taught me about like modifying cars and stuff, and like you don't have to, have a bunch of knowledge, just kind of figure it out on your own, and could be a really fun thing. I know later in life he had his own demons and stuff. It sucks, another high school friend gone. RIP Tree, you will be missed. So The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, probably my most anticipated game for the rest of 2024. Like, look, I get it. People love Tears of the Kingdom. People love Breath of the Wild. I'm one of those people as well. This open-ended aspect, the ability to go anywhere in a world that you see fit. You see something on the map, you just go there. You're not really guided along as to how you have to complete your journey. You complete your journey on your own time. You complete your journey at your own pace. You decide when and where to go somewhere to find out more about the story, find out more about Link, and find out really more about yourself. And it's a great mechanic, and it's something that's really fun. But as someone who is older, I also appreciate the traditional Legend of Zelda games, the games in which it's a lot more linear. I still feel like there is, a place for both the linear and the more open style Legend of Zelda games, because they represent like two different facets of the franchise that I think are equally as important. And whether or not we'll see like a big budget AAA sort of, more linear Legend of Zelda experience, I guess that really remains to be seen. But we are getting games that are more linear in terms of stuff like Echoes of Wisdom. This game, of course, stars Zelda in the starring role, trying to help out and find Link. He's within these rifts that have popped up in Hyrule. So Zelda has to go out there and save the day. And I think this game is very different from the traditional Zelda games that we've gotten recently, because of the fact that, the combat is different. It's more so focused on like puzzle elements and, using your brain instead of just using your brawn in order to advance throughout the game. I think it's going to be something that's really cool, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to. However, the ESRB just did the rating for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and they revealed something completely new about this game that nobody had talked about. I don't even think people were thinking about it. I sure as hell wasn't thinking about this. But now that it's out there in the open, I am going crazy with this idea because I think it's super awesome, and I think I'm kind of formulating like how this game is going to play out a little bit more so than we really knew before previously. Now, this is kind of a bit of a spoiler. It's already out there though, so I don't feel bad talking about it. I guess if you don't want to be spoiled, now is the time to click off the video. But this is a revelation for this game, and I think it really kind of opens up the game to what it's truly going to be. So we're going to take a look at the ESRB rating here. Rated E10 for fantasy violence, no interactive elements, meaning no sort of online stuff. But The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This is an adventure game in which players assume the role of Zelda as she attempts to dispel rifts throughout Hyrule and rescue Link. From a 3/4 overhead perspective, players explore various environments while fighting stylized enemies, for example, humans, creatures. As Link, players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. Zelda can use a magic wand to summon creatures, for example, wind-up knights, pig soldiers, slime for battle. Some enemies can be defeated by being set on fire. Other creatures dissolve into mist when defeated. Battle sequences are somewhat frantic, with several enemies attacking, fighting at once. So you're reading this and you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do you mean? As Link, players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. You play as Link in this game? Since when? Because that hasn't been said whatsoever in any sort of promotional material and any sort of marketing for this game. In the trailers, it doesn't show Link, it only shows Zelda. So now I'm starting to understand this game. So when the game starts out, when we get the initial trailer and Link gets stuck and he gets put into the rifts, I think you're going to be playing as Link sometimes within those rifts. which means that there's going to be more traditional Zelda style combat, which means that I almost feel like it's going to be a bit of an overworld underworld situation. Like, think about how the overworld and underworld were in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The underworld was kind of like this weird place, and you know, you had to do things a little bit differently versus the overworld. The overworld aspect of this game, I think, is going to be the Zelda aspect, and it's probably going to make up, like, I would say 75-80% of the main game, in which you're doing these puzzle elements, you're doing, you know, more unique combat that's sort of based on your brain than on your brawn. But there's also going to be segments of the game where you go into these rifts that that Link is captured in, and then you're having to do combat and fight. Like, are there going to be bosses in here as well that Link will also have to, you know, be combative against? Like, I think that's cool as hell. You know, I think that's the best of, like, both worlds, and it could tell a more interesting story, because instead of Link, who is this warrior, you know, instead of him just being captured the entire time, he's also going to be fighting potentially for his freedom, to get out of these rifts that have popped up in Hyrule. And I think that's so cool, because it really opens up the gameplay to almost have like two different styles going alongside of each other, parallel, to where you have, you know, this thinking mechanic, but you also have this combat mechanic as well. How deep will they go with this, though, I think is the real question, because, like, why not do things like boss battles and stuff like that? Like, if Link just has his sword and Link just has arrows, like, yes, that kind of limits the amount of combat that he can do, but that's still quite a bit of combat that you can do with these basic tools at your disposal. So I think that's awesome, dude. I think that's freaking cool as hell. And the fact that this came, like, Nintendo hasn't said a damn thing about this. Like, I think at this point, you kind of got to show, like, a gameplay trailer that also shows off, like, Link fighting as well, because it's not a secret now. It's not a secret. It's already out there. And I feel like Nintendo is aware of that and privy to that was going to pop up in the ESRB rating. So you have to imagine that they anticipated this, because this game comes out in September. You know, now we're like halfway through July, so, you know, a little over 2 months we're going to be playing this game. I think we're going to get another trailer that shows kind of the combat more in depth, and I think that's where we're going to see what you could do as Link as well. And I think that's super exciting, man. I think that's super cool, and it adds kind of another ripple into this game that I think makes it even potentially, like, more interesting. Like you know, it opens it up a little bit more to where you could do more and see more, and, you know, get really deep into the world of Hyrule with this. So yeah, man, that makes me excited. That makes me honestly very excited to see kind of how the Link segments of the game are going to play out, because I didn't even think of that. Like, honestly, I did not think of that, and I'm sure there are going to be people in the comments, why didn't you think of that? Of course it's going to be there. Really, dude? Really? You watched that trailer and you were like, oh, you just play as Zelda. That's cool. That's different. That's unique. But now that you have this Link element tied into it as well, I think it makes it even more spectacular. Let me know in the comment section down below, though. What do you think about this? Are you surprised that Link is available to be played? Sorry I didn't make a video yesterday. I was feeling under the weather. I'm feeling a bit better today. Voice is still a little scratchy, still kind of phlegmy or whatever, but we'll be all right. We will be all right. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.